Well, I heard on the news not too long ago that the Voyager space probe had been on the go since the 1970s and now was beyond our own solar system and soon would be gone. From radio contact was too far away, and the batteries were just about gone anyway, and the crowd up to NASA was all in a state they were snotting and bawling about Voyager's fate. What a sin, said the missus, the poor little dear, out in the cold, and sure no one else there, to change out the batteries, and I'd say that that's a poor job of work they got done up to NASA. Well, girl, says I, that's it, I suppose. It's 12 billion miles out. As far as I knows, they got nothing any good can go out that far. Change out the batteries, perhaps put on fresh tar. I suppose not, she said, with a tone in her voice, a tone now that I'd heard before once or twice. No, missus, says I, don't be looking at me. I got to split wood and pick bake apples, see? Then up walks my buddy Eugene and his two little granddaughters, Charlotte and Lily, so cute. They were crying and sniffling and all in a state about. Poor little Voyager's lights going out. Well, sir, that was it. I said that I'd go, fix Voyager up, perhaps give it a tow, change out the batteries, restore operation, and blow in some pink styrofoam insulation. I went to the launch site, 'cause that's where I had my old 12 Elan sitting on the launch pad. The crowd up to Houston could stay home in bed. The missus in Prouston would manage instead. My Aspenite cabin was lowered in place on the 12, and then for my breathing in space, a Jig's dinner boiler was put on to steam. 'Tis better than oxygen, works like a dream. The missus sat down and did a few sums in her scribbler and figured out 5 or 6 runs out to Voyager, but figured the best one of all was larboard of Venus, but I should keep her close hauled. I blasted off south over Paradise Sound, left Earth's atmosphere, got all settled down. I figured it would be a routine trip, but it was no time at all till my first big delay. First thing I knew, Major Tom came in sight, floating round his tin can, and not feeling too bright. He's 40 years gone now, and somewhere behind the asteroid belt and right low in his mind. I stopped for a yarn and a quick game of crib, and I got to confess that I told him a fib, but it cheered him right up, and I think he'll be back. I boosted his tin can. She started first crack. So listen here, NASA, you owe me, I'd say, but I won't send a bill. You don't have to pay. I don't ask for much. One stroke of the pen'll make us all square. Promote Tom to General. I left Tom behind and I headed on out. By this time I was hungry and thirsty, no doubt. I put on the kettle and made up a lunch, but something seemed wrong, and so just on a hunch, I looked back behind me. What did I see? A Yamaha Bravo was gaining on me. That's Uncle Darth Vader, I said with a roar. He's after my 12 now, this 10 years or more. Well, my capelin was roasted, the kettle was boiling. I could see Uncle Darth had his old gun from Swiling, but he didn't know this wood path like I did, so I hauled her 2 points to the starboard and slid just to one side of a big old black hole. 'Twas a job just to see it. 'Twas blacker than coal. Well, for sure now, old Uncle Darth never saw it, 'cause he piled right into it, brought up right solid. Well, sir, I'd say he was bogged down, no doubt, just his ski tips on top of his windshield poked out. I'll dart out and give him a tow when I can. The man is some covetous, my old 12 Elan. I passed along by Jupiter, skimmed over Saturn's rings. The Mrs. Kyle from Prouston Centre asked me how was things. Not bad, I says. I had a slight delay. Don't fool around too much, she said. 'Tis land and sea today. Oh my, says I guess I never thought about it, and I think I got to stop again. Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You'll never guess who's out here, and into the usual fight. 'Tis Alien and Predator, and they just got me in sight. Dave, old man, said Predator, I just knocked Alien out. No, he never, Alien said. How are you, Dave, my trout? Not bad, says I. I see you're both still at it. You ever think about counseling? Perhaps give up on the racket? Well, they looked at me kind of strange, like I was kind of stunned. Go on, Dave, boy, says Alien. It's just a bit of fun. And the movie crowd, they pays the biggest kind of money every show, and then it's top EI in the off-season, you know. Well, Predator was crumped right over, doing up a shoe. Alien up and drove him with her tail. I said, uh-oh. I could see he didn't like it. I figured I'd be leaving. Come on, you slimy nipper, he said. By the dancing reeving. Well, they soon had me forgotten, so I quickly said, good day. I was somewhere out past Pluto. Kind of thought I'd lost my way. No sign of little Voyager. Gas was getting tight. And all at once the blessed little Dickens came in sight. Well, it was looking kind of sad, kind of beat up and neglected, and its little R2-D2 voice could barely be detected. I put on my spacewalk oil clothes and took a gulp of steam, thought of Charlotte and of Lily and the poor old NASA team. I changed out all the batteries, and I'd say there were a few. Figured I could come back once a year and put in new. The antennas were all buckled, so I straightened them all out. Scraped and cleaned the spark plugs. They were carboned up, no doubt. I dabbed on a bit of tar where I could see a seal broken. Scraped her down and painted and replaced most all the oakum. I had the little dear done up just like a stick of gum. Land and seas in an hour, said the missus. Better run. Oh my, says I. I guess I better go. Voyager was fixed up now and looking nice, you know. I could see that it was happy, and it gave a happy squeal. NASA's glad, the missus said. I said, tell 'em no big deal. I jumped back on the 12 and got my scribbler out. Figured out my course back home, south-southeast or handy bout. I jammed the throttle open, put the speed up on warp 9. Good enough was what I thought. I should be home by supper time. Well, everything was going good until I up and spied Alien and Predator, thumbs out trying to hitch a ride. I stopped and let them come on board, 'cause they're me buddies, right? What's for supper, Dave? Said Alien. Is land and sea tonight? Well, we got home well in time to see Pauline come on. I had 10 turrs took out for supper. Now all 10 are gone. The two, they started arm wrestling as soon as they were fed. The missus flattened both of them and made them go to bed. So now the 12 is put away till next time NASA has a failure. Alien and Predator are living in my trailer. They're playing crib most all the time and splitting wood for me, and hoping to get hired on part-time with UFC.